Hello there. Welcome to grade 10 of business studies. So in this video, I want to look at the question paper of September 2025. That is a September 2025 test that was recently written. And of course, this is from the KwaZulu-Natal province. So going to our instructions and information, the question paper requires us to answer any one of the two questions if you check in terms of our section C, you have to answer one out of two questions given. Then on section A, it's compulsory. You have to answer every question that is in section A. Section B consists of three questions, and you answer two of the three questions. So, these are the instructions that are required according to our uh, our information is given. In terms of the components of the question paper, these are the components as illustrated from section A, going to section B and section C. And of course, our question paper consists of 100 marks and requires you to spend on average 90 minutes, of which 90 minutes is 1 hour 30 minutes. So in terms of the section A, we're going to start on the multiple choice section. So of course, our first question that we have is 1.1.1. It reads, Benjamin and traders considered the following factor when preparing for verbal presentation. So with the responses given there, you would see that the correct response is that consider the time frame for a presentation. That is what is the factor that has to be considered when preparing for a verbal presentation. Consider the time frame for presentation. Of course, the time frame is going to give you a guideline in terms of how you are going to present the information. In that way, you are not going to speak in terms of irrelevant information. You're just going to go straight to the important information that is required according to the time that you are given. So this is what we have in terms of part 1.1.1. Of course, we have got our D as the correct response. Then we go to the second part is 1.1.2. An example of a business strength is, or remember, strength is part of the component of the SWOT analysis, whereby we have our SWOT analysis, whereby we have got strength, we've got weakness, we've got opportunities, and then we've got threats. So in terms of our strength, according to the responses that we are given, you'd see that the strength that we only have is B, well-trained staff. So this is strength that is going to work in the positive direction of the business. So this is what we have. Then at number 3, the application of dash requires is tailor limited to use each suggestion to inspire new thoughts. So of course, we are given brainstorming, force field analysis, we are given nominal group technique and Delphi technique. So the correct response that we have is brainstorming, obviously, is the one that inspire new thoughts. So on brainstorming, we are going to see creativity. We are going to see new ideas coming in. So we have a brainstorming. So we have A. For number 4, we have a research instrument that involves interactive conversations between the researcher and the respondent. So the one that obviously involves interactive conversations. Interactive conversations, obviously, we are going to have a two-way communication process whereby we have got, of course, the presenter is going to be disseminating information, then also the recipient is going to also give feedback in terms of that process. So we have a interactive conversation. So in that case, according to our responses, you would see that in the interview is the one that we are going to have the interviewer and the interviewee, the one that is interviewing and the one that is being interviewed. So in that case, we have an interactive conversation. So we have C. Then we go number 5, XYZ Construction converted an idea into a viable income producing business. This is known as a, so see that this is a business opportunity. As we see that XYZ Construction converted an idea into a viable income producing business. So this income producing business becomes an opportunity that the business can utilize and more profits. So we have a business opportunity on B is our correct answer. Then we move on to 1.2.1. We have got a poster. Of course, we are going to check according to column B, which one do matches a poster in terms of the explanations that were given in column B. So as we go through, you'd see that the one that is aligning with the poster is E, whereby it reads provides a summary of information and discussions to our stakeholders. So E is the most appropriate. Then we go to number 2, 1.2.2, we've got a vision statement. A vision statement, of course, with the information given, then we check which one do matches a vision according to and the information that we have. So moving on, you see that a vision statement sets the current and future objectives of an organization, and also you see that it describes what a company desires to achieve in the long run, generally in the time frame of 5 to 10 years. So so you see that when you're looking at a vision, we are looking at a long-term perspective that the business has. So according to our responses now, within that context, we check which is the most appropriate description that we have in terms of a vision statement. So it is that if you go to H, describes how the business will achieve its purpose. So F is the most appropriate according to the responses that we have in column B. So we have H, correct answer. Then we've got the threats. So we check again which one do matches threats. But if you go to our responses, you'll see that the most appropriate is J. Include factors like competition and high unemployment rate. So of course, when it's a threat is something that has got a possible negative effect on the business, something that we see that might bring a negative effect on the business. So that is what we have. So we've got J as the correct response. So we go to business report. So a business report basically is a collection of data and analysis that helps make a relevant information easily accessible to a business. So basically, it comes in the collection of data, and also the analysis of that data is inside a business report. So basically, we are saying they are structured documents that present information, analysis, and insights about a specific topic. It might be an issue or an aspect of a business or organization that is a business report. So within that context, again, we check which one is the most appropriate according to the responses that we have. So if you go to A, it's a written document that communicates information to assist business decision making. So A is the correct response that we have. Then we go to PESTEL analysis again. We check which one do matches PESTEL analysis. But if you go to D, enable businesses to identify challenges that are posed by external factors. So this is an external analysis in terms of looking at external factors that affect the business. So we have D as the correct response. So this is our part 1.2, and of course, this is going to be the last part that we have on section A with 20 marks. Then we move on to question 2, which is now on section B. So this is our section B, and it's on business ventures. So the first question is outline the importance of market research. So what are the importances that we can deduce in terms of market research? So we'd say that market research helps businesses to find more about the needs of the target market. So that is the first importance that we have in terms of market research. It also provides detailed analysis of the latest consumer preferences or trends or tastes or habits. Next point, helps the business to collect important information about the target market, such as age group, gender, personality, income, and education. So that is what we have in terms of importance of market research. Then we move on to the next question. Read the scenario below and answer the questions that follow. Of course, we are given a scenario of Star Beacon. So we need to go through the scenario given, and question reads, identify a component of a business plan applicable to SB. So what is the component of a business plan? We know that we have got various components that we have in terms of a business plan. But according to the scenario that we are given, what is the components that we have? So we go to the scenario that we have. We see that it reads Star Baker produces bread for business around To Atuba, SB applied for a loan for Eastern Bank and submitted a proposal or document with a projected statement of profit or loss and income and cash flow. So the issue of a projected statement of profit or profit, loss, and cash flow, it actually indicates the part of the business plan that is the financial plan. So we are saying on this part, our correct answer is financial plan is indicated on this part. Then move on to 2.2.2. Explain any other two components of a business plan. So we're going to see that we have got various components that we can also include. We've got a cover page that is going to be a component of the business plan. A contents page, which is the index, also is part of the components. We also have the executive summary as part of that. We can also talk about the description of the business. That is the overview. It's also part of the business plan is components. So we have got various components that we have. So from there, we can start with the cover page. And we can see that in terms of the cover page, it contains information like the name of the business, contact details of the owners, address of the employees, address of the business, not employees as such, but address of the business. The logo of the business also is part of the cover page. Also, a copyright disclaimer to protect the contents of the plan. We have also as part of the cover page. Then in terms of the contents page, that is the index, and this is what we have. This page gives a title and page number of each subsection of the plan. It would have also description that we have in terms of contents page, whereby it allows the reader to find information in the document. Then from there, we see that we've got a continuation of components. The business plan also have the executive summary. As a component, we also have the description of the business or overview. Is also the component of a business plan. We also have SWOT analysis as a component of the business plan. We can also talk about legal requirements of a business, also part of the component of a business plan. So basically, this is what we have on that part. We can also have the marketing plan. Marketing plan is a component of a business plan. So we have a marketing plan and explanation of marketing plan. We have it here. An operational plan. Operational plan also part of a business plan. Of course, we have management plan is a component of a business plan again. A competitor analysis again is a component of a business plan. But of course, the question only requires only two components. So this is what we have in terms of components of a business plan. So in terms of 2.3, it really discusses the importance of assessing the needs and desires in identifying a business opportunity. So you'd see that the importance is we have them as listed, whereby the needs and desires are the keys to a successful business opportunity. And of course, when the needs and desires create a guarantee for a market. So when we do the assessment of the needs and desires, we have a guarantee for a market, and that is also of importance. We also have further points that we have in terms of importance of assessing needs and desires in identifying a business opportunity. So with that, we move on to the next part, whereby it requires us to recommend factors to consider when preparing a presentation. So when preparing a presentation, what are the factors to consider? So these are the factors that we have. The first one is on the text and headings. We also have to use legible font and font size. Selecting a suitable background that would not distract from the content. Obviously, it's not going to distract the content. Choosing images that may help to communicate the message, including graphics and images related to the content. So we've got further points that have to be taken into consideration when preparing a presentation. Of course, this is the last part that we have in terms of our question 2 with a total of 20 marks. Question 3 is on business roles. The first question that we have is elaborate on the meaning of creative thinking. But basically, creative thinking is the ability to come up with a unique ideas, and they may be original ideas or original solutions. Also known, you see that creative thinking is also known as creative problem solving. That's another name that we can give to a creative thinking. So basically, it's the ability to consider something in a new way from a fresh perspective. That is creative thinking. So we've got a description that we have in terms of creative thinking, whereby it reads, creative thinking is the ability to think of original and innovative ideas. It focuses on exploring ideas or generating possibilities and looking for many answers. So these are the descriptions that we have in terms of creative thinking. Then we go to the next question. It reads, read the scenario below and answer the question that follow. We are given the scenario of ZIP distributors. So you have to read the scenario before you answer the question. So we have got question part one. Quote two benefits of creative thinking in the workplace from the scenario above. So we have to deduce those benefits from the scenario that we have. So if you go to this sentence, it reads as ZD is continuously improved product development by exploring new ways to enhance growth. So continuously improving the product development is the benefit that we can see as being deduced from that part. So we go to the next sentence. It reads the employees of ZD. The employees of ZD have more confidence as they can live up to their full potential. So the issue of more confidence becomes another benefit that we can deduce. So we are saying on the first part, that is the point that we have quoting that sentence, and then we've got another sentence that we've identified in the scenario that we have as a benefits of creative thinking. So our next question reads, explain other benefits of creative thinking in the workplace. So what are the other benefits that we can deduce from creative thinking that are not part of the scenario? So these are the other benefits that we have. Better, unique or unconventional ideas or solutions are generated. And then also we've got complex business problems may be solved is the second one. We also have improved motivation among staff members. Management or employees may keep up with fast-changing technology, which may lead to an increased market share. We have got creativity also may lead to new inventions, which improves the general standard of living. Various benefits of creative thinking that we have is listed and that we can just browse through. So basically, this is what we have for this part. And then we now move on to the next question that we have, whereby it's 3.3, discuss ways in which businesses can use creative thinking to generate entrepreneurial opportunities in the workplace. What are the ways in which businesses can use creative thinking to generate entrepreneurial opportunities in the workplace? So you'd see that these are the ways that we have which can in which business can use creative thinking. So design environments that stimulate creative thinking. Design environments that stimulate creative thinking. Also encourage staff to come up with new ideas and solutions. Respond enthusiastically to all ideas and never let anyone feel less important. Make time for brainstorming sessions to generate new ideas, for example, holding regular workshops. So these are the points that we have in terms of ways in which a business can use creative thinking and to generate entrepreneurial opportunities in the workplace. So moving on to our 3.4, suggests how businesses can apply the nominal group technique to solve business problems. So we have the nominal group technique. But basically, if you look at the nominal group technique, it is a group process involving problem identification. So it also involves a solution generation and also decision making. So it can be used in groups of many sizes who want to make their decisions quickly. So we can also try to describe it as a structured method or structured method or group brainstorming that encourages contributions from everyone and facilitates a quick agreement. So there's quick agreement that is facilitated through nominal group technique. So our question requires us to suggest how businesses can apply the nominal group technique to solve business problems. So you'd see that this is the application of nominal group technique to solve business problems. We have the points as listed as the first one is to encourage group to clearly define the problem or to improve the quality of their products due to various complaints so that all the small groups can work on the same problem. If you look at the second point, the business must divide the employees into smaller groups. So the groups should be smaller, as indicated in the second point, and request each employee to silently brainstorm or generate main ideas on his or her own on how the quality of the product can be improved and to write it down. Further point, we also have that part of the application of nominal group technique to solve business problems. So we have got a list of those points. And this is the last part that we have in terms of question 3, and this was a total of 20 marks as indicated. So with that, we move on to the next question, which is going to be our question 4. Question 4 is on business ventures. So the first question, give 4 practical examples of business opportunities. So it's that we have got home care service for senior citizens, online education programs, catering and ready-made meals are some of the examples of a business opportunities. Going back to our question, you'd see that our question is got 4 marks, so it also requires four practical examples. Then 4.2, identify the P's of marketing mix applicable in each of the following statements. The first one is Zico traders advertise their product through radio and magazines. So of course, this is promotion. This is promotion. Then in terms of 4.2.2, Denby Consulting Private Limited operates in a clean and functional facilities to attract and retain customers. So of course, this is the physical environment. So these are also is stated in our other section, as we are saying. We have the first part, this is 4.2.1, is indicated by promotion, and then also a physical environment. Then we look at the next question. It requires us to explain the difference between internal and external market research. But of course, internal is from the inside the business or within the business, and then external from outside the business. That is the basic difference that we can come up with. As we are saying, internal market research is conducted within the business and designated by a person, whereby external market research is conducted outside the business by the specialist agents. So we have that as the first difference. The second difference, under internal market research, different resources within the business are used to gather information to make informed decision, whereby external, various market research instruments such as questionnaires or interviews are used to gather information about target market needs and desires. So the second difference, we've got further differences that we have that we can also include in terms of that. Then we have the next question is on business roles. Describe how businesses can use mind mapping to identify innovative and entrepreneurial business opportunities. So how businesses can use mind mapping to identify innovative and entrepreneurial business opportunities. So within that context, you'd see that they can create a central idea or theme is the first way. And on the second part, second point, the central idea or theme is the starting point of the mind map and it represents the topic to be explained. And add branches to the mind map, linking key concepts to the main theme, and add keywords to the branch of key concepts. So these are some of the points that we have. And of course, we need to move on to the next question. 4.5. Advise business on how force field analysis can be applied to solve a business problem. How can force field analysis be applied to solve business problems? Looking at force field analysis, I would say that force field analysis it helps to weigh the pros and cons of a decision, and it helps you to think about what you need to do to make change successful. So basically, it is a decision-making tool used to determine the impact and influence of various factors before implementing changes in business processes. So that is the description of or the role of force field analysis in the operations of businesses. So our question requires us to advise businesses on how force field analysis can be applied to solve business problems. So in the application of force field analysis, you'd see that we have points that we have in terms of how force field analysis can be applied to solve business problems, and we have to describe the current situation or problem and the desired situation. So this is that we have, and then I list all the driving forces and sustaining forces that will support and resist change. allocate a score to each force using a numerical scale where 1 is weak and 5 is strong. Weigh up the positives and negatives, then decide if the project is viable. Choose the force with the highest score as a solution. So this is application of force field analysis, and of course our question is on 4 marks, which is our last question that we have in terms of question 4, with a total of 20 marks. Then of course we move on to the section C, where we have our moving on. Lesson 5 is on business ventures, presentation of business information. So we have got information that I give you that you need to go through before you start to answer the question. Then it reads, write an essay on the presentation of business-related information, in which you include the following aspects. First part, you have to outline the importance of business report. Second part, explain the guidelines of writing effective business report. For the third part, discuss the following visual aids, whereby we have got the flip chart. We also have interactive whiteboard. And on the additional part, you have to advise businesses on the purpose of visual aids. So this is the requirements of the question. Of course, in introduction, you can define any key term that you have in the question, or you can write on the on an appreciation that we have in terms of the importances of a business report. So business report as a term, you'd see that it is a collection of data and analysis that helps make a relevant information easily accessible to a business. So it makes relevant information easily accessible. That is the business report. Basically, it's also a structured approach whereby it is structured documents that present information, present also analysis, and also present insights about a specific topic. It might be a specific issue or a specific aspect of a business. So that is a business report. So in terms of our introduction, this is a typical introduction that you can come up with according to the essay topic that we have in particular. So in terms of the first part now, that is on the part of the main part, you are supposed to outline the importances of a business report. So in terms of importances, we have them as just saying business reports enable management to keep track of every activity undertaken to each department. So we can make a track, and also business report provides important information for management that is timely and factual. Also, business report provides information that is crucial for decision making in the business. We also have further points that we have in terms of importances of business report. So the next part, you have to explain guidelines of writing effective business reports. So for you to come up with an effective business report, what are the guidelines that you have to follow? So these are the guidelines that we have. You have to spend time revising the report and corrections for any spelling or grammatical errors. You write concisely and only include important information. Also prepare an overview of what the audience needs to know and details that should be included in the report. So we've got further points that we also have as guidelines for writing an effective business report. So in terms of the next part, you have to discuss the following visual aids. We've got the flip charts, interactive whiteboard. So obviously we need descriptions or explanations that we have in terms of flip charts. Of course, we have that as flip charts is the first one. A board is a board with a paper attached at the top. It can be flipped over to present information sequentially. So basically, this is a basic description that we have in terms of flip charts. So it's a chart that is mostly useful for a small group to ensure that every member have a clear view. So you see that it is applicable for a small group. So it means when the group is big, it cannot be applicable due to the aspect of being able to see. If it's a big group, it means we're going to see some members not seeing what is on the flip chart. So so go to the interactive whiteboard now. Interactive whiteboard can be useful for a small group or a large group. So this one is applicable to a large group. That is the interactive whiteboard. It can be linked to other whiteboards in other venues, helping the business to save traveling costs. So also an advantage of saving costs is also attached to interactive whiteboard. So with that, we move on to the next part, whereby you have to advise businesses on the purpose of visual aids. So what are the purposes of visual aids is the next part. So Purpose of visual aids reinforce what has been presented, keep audience engaged during the presentation, create excitement amongst the participants, help the audience to remember the presentation. It helps to add value and brings clarity to the presentation. So these are the purpose of visual aids. And of course, we are going to end our essay with a conclusion. So this is a typical conclusion that you can come up with the essay in question. Question 6 is on business roles, that is creative thinking and problem solving. So we also have information that we have that is we are given that you need to go through before you go to the requirements of the essay. So all the requirements it reads are write an essay creative thinking or the creative thinking and problem solving in which you include the following aspects. So the first one, you outline the differences between decision making and problem solving. That is the first part. And then I also have explained the following problem solving steps, whereby we have identify the problem and then select the most appropriate alternative solution. Then we discuss how Delphi technique can be applied to solve business problems. Then on the additional part, that is at the additional part, we have to suggest ways in which creative business opportunities can realistically be implemented. So this is our additional part. And of course, you are supposed to start your introduction. So in terms of the introduction that we have, this is a typical introduction that you can come up with according to our essay. Then in terms of the next part, which is the main part now, you are supposed to start by outlining the importances of a business report. For the first part, you have to, this is the previous essay question. So all the current essay question that we have for business roles, first part, you have to outline the differences between decision making and problem solving. So basically that's what we have. So the differences, we have them as tabulated, difference between decision making and problem solving, whereby decision making, it is often done by one person, a member of senior management who makes it authoritarian, and then we go to problem solving. Problems can be solved by a group or team or an individual team member. Also, have other decision making, various alternatives are considered before deciding on the best one. Then, other problem solving, alternative solutions are generated, identified, and critically evaluated. So, these are the differences that we have between decision making and problem solving. Then, on the next part, explain the following problem solving steps. We have got to identify the problem. We have to identify the problem so that we can be able to solve it. Then also select the most appropriate alternative solutions. So of course, you will be having various alternatives that we have, and you have to select the most appropriate alternative solution. So in terms of those steps, we have first we have got on the first part we have got identify the problem, whereby you have to acknowledge that there is a problem and then identify the exact problem. So this is what we have in terms of identification of the problem, and then we have got now select the most appropriate alternative solution, set criteria for the best solution in terms of aspects such as time, cost, or risk involved, identify which solution will be used, and the best solution should match the size and the resources of the business. Of course, that is on selecting the most appropriate alternative solution. And of course, on the next part of our question, we have to discuss how Delphi technique can be applied to solve our business problems. So how can the Delphi technique be applied to solve to solve business problems? So in that case, now this is the application of the Delphi technique. Business must invite a panel of experts to research the complaints from customers, and also experts do not have to be in one place and will be contacted individually. Design a questionnaire. You have to design a questionnaire consisting of questions on how to improve the quality of their products and distribute it to the panel members or experts. So these are the explanations that we have. Of course, we've got a continuation in terms of those explanations of application of a Delphi technique. So with that, we move on to the additional part whereby you have to suggest ways in which creative business opportunities can realistically be implemented. Suggest ways in which creative business opportunities can realistically be implemented. So these are the ways in which creative business opportunities can realistically be implemented. Understand your market needs and adapt to change. use free resources in line to reach out to customers, share business ideas and find a mentor, create a website suitable for your business or market, pick a good team to initiate growth. So these are the ways in which creative business opportunities can realistically be implemented. And of course, as I say, we have got a typical conclusion that you can come up with. So this is a typical conclusion that you can come up with.